Hello, guys. I'm Sudarshana Starshine Star. Welcome. It is a beautiful Sunday. It is September 28th, 2025. I have a YouTube channel called It's the Dazzling of the Light, or you can just go to YouTube and type in at Sudarshana Starshine Star to access my, I think it's over 270 podcast clips there now and a few videos. So why not join my YouTube channel? It's free. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And why not hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on anything? Thank you so much. I begin all of my clips with the three opening prayers, which are in Sanskrit and Telugu, and they are short. This is to bless, uplift, purify, and protect you, me, and this clip. They are the Guru Mantra, the Ganesha Mantra, and the Gayatri Mantra. And lately I've started prefacing those prayers by doing this. I command on the sacred blood of Jesus the Christ, Yeshua, to flow over all of us, all of our beloveds, all of our human beloveds, all of our animal beloveds, all of our social media platforms, all the ways that we express ourselves. That's for the best and the highest. I command on the sacred blood of Jesus Christ to wash over all of us and remove any satanics, any satanic attachments, remove any demonics, any demonic attachments, remove all negativity, remove all shame and blame, cast out the spirit of fear, cast out the spirit of darkness, cast out the spirit of pain, cast out the spirit of ill health, cast out the spirit of hatred, of fury, of rage, of jealousy, of envy. Cast out all negativity, all negative memories, all negative thought, words, and deeds. Please send your healing presence now, Yeshua. Thank you. Yeshua, please heal the wounds in our soul. Thank you, Yeshua. We receive your healing and your blessings. Thank you so much. Amen. Swaha. I also call on the beautiful, holy, divine presence of Mother Mary, especially in this very divine timing of Navaratri, the 9 days and nights of Mother Divine, different aspects of Mother Divine that culminate in the 10th day, of victory day, of good over evil, of light over darkness, called Vijayadasami. And today is actually the first of 3 days honoring the aspect of Mother Divine called Sarasvati. She's the beautiful Mother Divine that you see playing a veena with like white swans all around her. She is the aspect of Mother Divine that really has a special place for knowledge and the arts and music, and the one who gave the sacred bijaksharas or seed words, called bijas for short, to make the ancient mantras to the Maharshis and the Rishis of ancient India. It's sacred Vedic knowledge, thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. So it's very worthy to have that. And once again, I have to stress that ancient Vedic knowledge is for everyone. It's not about religion. It's not about Hinduism. It's not about being a Muslim. It's not about being a Christian. It's not about being a Buddhist. It's not about being, what else is there? A Mormon. It's not about being Hebrew. It's cosmic, universal, sacred, divine knowledge that's meant for all divine children of Mother, Father, God. And that's the truth. So here are the prayers. Om, 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmahi Sri Guru Vena Namaha. Om Shuklam Bharataram Vishnum, Sishivarnam Chatobhujam, Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vignupashante. Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhako Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Excellent. Well, I'm going to call this clip FeeFiFoFum. And there's going to be probably something else after that, but that's going to be the first part that I'm going to call this. Just like the big big footsteps of the giants. Yes, especially related to when it says fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Now, I would say, in terms of Englishmen, go back to the satanic elites that have been centered in sourcing out of City of London, the 1 mile square financial district, City of London, which is its own city state and has been the power of the point of power for the satanic elites, also called the Cabal or the Illuminati or the Khazaria Mafia or the fake JEWSs or the Jesuits, or coming out of the Children of Cain, the 13 satanic papal bloodline families of Venice and Rome, directly connected to the Vatican, and the whole satanic creation of Vatican City, which has no part of Rome or Italy. It is its own city-state with its own rules and laws, just like financial state of City of London has, and it has ruled as the PowerPoint of the satanic religion, bossing around and squishing all the humans on the earth realm. Just related to the city-state called the District of Columbia, called Washington, D.C., which was a foreign invasion on American soil. It had nothing to do with Maryland or the United States of America, but it is being redeemed and scoured like all these satanic spots. This triumvirate, this like a triangle. These three spots on a triangle. These 3 points on each angle of a triangle. That is being scoured of darkness, evil, foulness, and really hideous ways that have ruled the earth realm, have allowed to rule the earth realm for thousands of years, and that time is up. That's why it's called the end times. It's not the end times for humanity. It's the end times for the satanics and all of their minions. It's a great cleanup going on, and there's a lot happening. There's a lot of good happening. There's so many twists and turns, because you really can't clean up an illusion straightly. You have to use illusion to win over illusion. I was taught that very clearly by my Swami Sri Kaleshwar Swami of Penakonda, India, Andhra Pradesh state. He was a Siddha Purusha Avatara, and you can read all about him. His coming on the earth realm was foretold in a sacred, very well-known text called the Kalagna, and he took his Mahasamadhi in 2012 at the age of 39, but he's still very much around, as well as my Sadguru, Shirdi Sai Baba, who took his Mahasamadhi in 1915, but he's still very much around. So here we go. In terms of FeeFiFoFum, the big foot, I think of the big foot of, especially right now during Navaratri, the huge giant footsteps of Mother Divine, pressing down and squishing out all the Rakshasas, all the Asuras, all the demons on the earth realm, part of this great purification and cleanup time, because the humans are going to go into a great golden era. It's not a guarantee, but for the most part, it will be. It will be done. So there's so much that has happened. I wanted to post this yesterday. I've just been so busy. I'm sure all of you have seen the great reveals coming out about January 6th. Of course, we patriots, I could say patriots and truthers, although I've almost come to despise that title of truthers, because so many people that call themselves truthers were actually liars. And like so much of the darkness infiltrated so many things and pretended to be goodly and godly, but it was just another trick. But they've been revealed for the most part by now. Anyway, we all knew, because we watched, if we weren't there in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, 2021, we watched President Trump's speech. We saw several times where he called several times. He told everyone, go home, go home. He was ordering everyone to go home and very peaceful. He never said one thing about anything violent or anything like that. And as is the truth that's being revealed now, because we already saw it. We watch independent media. We don't just turn on mainstream media, which we knew has been corrupted and is just owned by the same 6 entities that are satanic and that are liars, that are part of the controllers called the cabal, that want to control this earth and have done so. And they don't want humanity to have any freedom. They call us the useless eaters, the goyim, the cattle, the sheep. And the patriots and truthers, we already knew that, or the awakened ones who are aware of what's been really going on. Not in all aspects, because it is a war, it is a great battle, and it is the art of war. And that can be very tricky. Look weak when you are strong, look strong when you are weak. All these things, so many things I can't repeat. Never interrupt an enemy in a process of destroying itself. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. All of these things. But on January 6th, we already saw, because we already saw, it was so obvious. Now, I myself did not know that there were 275 undercover FBI agents. We already saw many of them. We were laughing when we watched it play out, because so often they're called corn product, because they're off the farm of Langley. They're farm products called corn, off the FBI's boys, spelled BOIS. And they were wearing their Abercrombie and Fitch, the really fake outfits, trying to look like they were MAGA, trying to look like they were patriotic and that they liked President Trump. And they were so stiff, like mannequins with earpieces in. It was so obvious to see who they were. But not 275 of them, which has been revealed. But we did see the incitement and the way the Capitol Police opened up the gates and said to everyone, come on through here, and ushered them through. And we saw the instigators that were getting violent and climbing up and trying to break windows, and the real people that were there to celebrate America and President Trump were calling those violent people out and trying to pull them down and saying, they're not real. They're trying to make us do this. Stop it. They tried to stop the violence. We saw all of this. So it's not a surprise to us, but it's a surprise to people that had just watched mainstream media or just read mainstream periodicals and don't bother to do independent research and haven't believed that there's a reason for it. So it's not a surprise to us, but it's about time that the truth came out, as well as, which was just the unspeakable cruelty, really unspeakable cruelty. It reminds me of the cruelty of the Spanish Inquisition, what happened to those people in the gulag underneath Washington, D.C., the prison there, kept in solitude for years, solitary confinement, and so many people that were arrested by the FBI after the event of January 6, 2021, just because they were in the vicinity. Yeah, the FBI, the corrupt, satanic FBI, went and was pulling people out of their homes all over the country who just they checked motel receipts, car rental receipts, everything. They were just arresting people and left and right, just for being there. And Americans had a right to be there. And the White House is the people's house. They had a right to be there on January 6th and be patriotic and fly the American flag and stand up for their country. But it was not about, like so many people have said, I mean, if you just have any common sense in your head, it's a well-known fact that America is the most well-armed country on the entire earth realm. There so many Americans are gun owners and know how to use that. And to call the Americans that went on that event on January 6th to say that they were trying to cause an insurrection or everything is so ridiculous, because it was the most weaponless supposed insurrection ever. Not one weapon. It's like, that they were trying to do something dark and evil and do an insurrection. No, they were not. It's just there was so much evil that day, planned evil. As well as now, it's very obviously well known. President Trump called twice for Nancy Pelosi to first bring in 10,000 National Guard 4 days before the event. She refused. 2 days before the event, he asked again. She refused. There's just so much evil going on. So it's James Comey didn't just get arrested. Now this is the part that I have to really be very clear about. Go back if you want to, see something, to around 2020 when James Comey was supposedly sending out like breakfast little clips of himself on the then Twitter in his breakfast room in his home in Virginia. He has a few homes around, and the one he has in Virginia, he was supposedly sitting there with coffee and, lace doilies, giving out these little breakfast room tweets and clips. And at the same time, you saw a very sweaty, beanie wearing James Comey who was jogging in Central Park. And he was in Central Park when he was filming himself and doing these desperate tweets full of so many codes he was sending out to his buddies, like, they've got me. And that was the time that he was picked up. That was when James Comey was picked up. And he is, as I've shared on my other social medias, but I can't really show all the pictures here on my YouTube, but there is a very good photo of a hidden portion of the Bush family. That, as I often share, and you might know that the Bush family were really the Scherfs. They're English nobility as well as related to Germanic nobility coming out of Europe. And they are part of the Children of Cain bloodline that I've talked about, the Brotherhood of the Serpent, that I've spoken so many times about. Why don't you go on my YouTube channel and look at my Controller series? It gives a lot of information about that. But in this one particular photo that I was prizing it for, in the lower right-hand corner, it showed a child about 7 years old, Kelsey Bush. That's really Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was really, who's not alive anymore. That being, that evil, one of the most evil things you could ever imagine. That thing was picked up and given military tribunal and received capital punishment for treason and crimes against humanity. But there have been so many clones and doubles and actresses and so many doubles and terrible looking. I mean, the doubles have been varying in height, and I mean, that's one of the most easy things to see, other than JoJo, the fake Joseph Robinette Biden. But anyway, I don't want to digress on that. But anyway, there's Kelsey Bush in the lower right-hand corner, who's really Hillary Clinton. The Children of Cain, this satanic cabal, this Khazaria mafia, many of them fake JEWSs, but they have many branches of the tree. That's how they infiltrate. They always change their name, and then they take over other people's properties and infiltrate, and you don't know who's who. They insert their children into different families. They have their bastards with different names. And I always give the famous example of Bill Clinton, who was really a bastard Rockefeller. He's really the grandson of Winthrop Rockefeller, and he went every summer to the main compound with all of his little Rockefeller cousins and had their little summer getaway. And he was cousins with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was one of his cousins, but she was a Bush, a Scherf. But who was standing up behind, like one person behind in this Bush family photo, Scherf family photo, was James Comey. I don't know his real name, but I do know he was a Bush. That was at a family picnic there a long time ago. So anyway, so he's really a Bush, and he was picked up, like I said, in 2020. So this whole thing has to play out, like I repeat over and over again. There are over 200,000 hyperskin Hollywood face masks with voice box technology wearing white hat actors that have been doing so many things all over the earth realm, not just in America, all over. There had to be, the people couldn't take it. They couldn't take how infiltrated not only America was, but the world was. They wouldn't be able, they don't have the heart stamina to take this. Most people don't. They don't. So many even now, they're like, I can't believe this. You have to take it in like bite-sized chunks. So many of the evils, especially the top heads or the heads of the snakes, were already handled a while ago. But what we're dealing with now are the millions and millions and millions and millions of minions. I mean, there's so many, and the infiltration was so dense. So this is the cleanup process we're in now. A few middle management, and like we'll see tomorrow in Quantico in Virginia, the way Hegeth called in all the generals and admirals and some brigadier generals, etc., to congregate, over 800 generals tomorrow in Quantico, Virginia, which is a Marine Corps base as well as FBI base, and it's going to be a fee-fi-fo time there. Anyway, but what I wanted to say was, so that he's already taken care of. And then you saw James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, who supposedly, how they say, got fired at the DOJ not long ago. And then just the other day when James Comey was quote unquote officially indicted, then his son-in-law, who was called Troy A. Edwards Jr., supposedly stepped down the day of the indictment. And Troy was a senior national security prosecutor. Yeah, whenever they say step down, like the hundreds, almost getting close to 300 CEOs of major companies since the 2017, since President Trump first took office, how many of them stepped down? Yeah, they really stepped down from millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in salary, and so much in bonuses and stock and everything else and privileges. Yeah, they really step down and say the same thing. It's either, I just want to spend more time with my family, or they have this, they say they have this mysterious disease that just sprang up, and then they just go, I'm stepping down, and then they just disappear. Step down means they were made to go. They were either picked up for a military tribunal for crimes against humanity and treason, or they were made to leave. That's what step down means. So anyway, so much good is happening. And I think I'm going to use on this clip a photo of President Trump putting little shells on the beach sand, just like supposedly James Comey did, that said 8647 in seashells about a year and a half ago. Of course, that wasn't the real James Comey. Those are just underlings that are doing that. But 86 is a term meaning get rid of, or KILL. And 47, of course, refers to President Trump right now, the 47th president of the United States. So I think I'm going to use a photo of President Trump, a little meme of him putting seashells in the sand that say FAFO, because these are the FeeFiFo times that we're in, the glorious cleanup times, accountability times, culture of consequence times. Yeah, absolutely. And Stephen Miller said, we're going to go after Clapper, Brennan, Obama, Monaco, all these people connected to all this Russia Gate and the Christopher Steele dossier and all that. But these people have already been handled. If you think Obama's still walking around, I've shown for years on my other social media, Big Mike, Michelle Obama, and Barry Hussein, that's Barack Obama's real name, they were standing with the guards at Gitmo. You can see the pictures through the wire, and one of Big Mike in the little exercise yard there walking around. They have already been picked up. They've already been handled. Same thing, treason and crimes against humanity. And but this movie has to play out this way. So it looks like, there's accountability now, so people will be satisfied. But it already happened for the big guys and the big girls, even though a lot of the big girls were really men wearing dresses, but I'll just say big girls. And the more than 24 of the FBI agents have been fired, the ones that were photographed kneeling for the George Floyd nonsense during the riots there. So ridiculous, because George Floyd was a career criminal, a drug addict, a thief. He had put a gun up to a pregnant woman's belly and robbed her, and he was just very criminal and very no good. And I don't wish for anyone to have their unaliving, but it seems pretty clear that he had been caught with fentanyl and had swallowed it, was trying to get rid of the evidence, and he passed away from that. But I never want to see anyone expiring in the street, no matter what kind of a criminal they are. I don't like to see that, and I don't give a thumbs up to that in any way. But to kneel and make it that this person, it's just like making a Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an MS-13 gang member, wife beater, a human trafficker, like a hero. It's upside down world, where good is evil, evil is good, very, very crazy times. So, And there's a mass exodus of tons of officials resigning right now from the DOJ, Department of Justice, and the FBI, which is very good. Very, very good. You got to clean all that out. Yep. And as I mentioned, it was going to be tomorrow. I'm going to mention a little bit more, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about Pete Hegseth. That's a little bit later, what I want to talk about here. So, in terms of this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, um, go back to, let's see, it was, I forgot the date. I looked it up. It was when Jimmy Kimmel was doing a skit with Matt Damon. Let's see. Okay, that's for ahead in my notes. I'm gonna skip ahead to that in a little bit. But there's something I want to say about that too, because that's not actually Jimmy Kimmel. So all these things, people that are taking all this stuff and believing all this stuff and not knowing that Jimmy Kimmel, the pedo, part of the satanic, in the club, in the group, definitely, it's not really Jimmy Kimmel. So who's ever doing that, it will be closing sometime soon. But it's better that it doesn't go. I think it's better that that show doesn't appear to go down because of something like that. People can say, "Oh, you don't believe in freedom of speech and stuff like that." Although to me, there's definitely a difference between freedom of speech and hate speech when you're calling for unalivings of people. And you're not an authority to do that. Like, you're not the president of the United States who has to handle things and take care of criminals and handle just legal remedies for that. Anyway, it's gonna go out. It's gonna go the way of the wind, no doubt. So also, there's something I want to mention about if you go into September 11th, where I put in I put a clip out called "Things Are Not What They Really Appear to Be," and I spoke some truth. Although I know it's hard for people to believe about Charlie Kirk, I suggest you go look at that if you haven't seen it. It's not long, but there is a Andrew Colvett, who was a spokesman for Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. He was also an executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show. And he said a few days ago, I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said that the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken down a moose or two, or an elk, but it didn't go through Charlie's body, stopped it. It's like a miracle. And he said, in the part that's makes me smile, because this is a white hat operation, the surgeon calls Charlie Kirk a man of steel and reveals that the miracle factor that likely prevented more people from being hurt, because Charlie Kirk's body stopped that bullet from passing through. So he's a man of steel. And who's the man of steel? Isn't that the name for Superman? Yeah, these are white hats, and you have to look for it. And go watch what I said to go watch, but this is part of the White Hat operation, because on that day, definitely all is not what it appeared to be. And this is another pointer pointing through that this is a White Hat operation. Yeah, I mean, So now I'm going to go to, on Truth Social, President Trump had posted, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I'm directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I'm also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And yeah, so there's much to say about that in terms of Portland, because of what just happened today. But I have so much that I want to say on this clip, and I have something really good to share with you guys. But I'm noticing, I didn't notice this before, because I'm using a mic, and now I'm noticing that I need to recharge it. So what I'm going to do is, before, I don't want this to cut out here and I lose what I've recorded. I'm going to end this here now. This will be FeeFiFo part 1, and then I'm going to pick up right away. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to continue with what I'm sharing with you guys, and it will be FeeFiFo part 2. So just for right now, I'm closing this, and I always close all of my clips with a closing prayer in Sanskrit and Telugu. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you. I appreciate you. It's the closing prayer. What I'm saying is, God bless all beings in all worlds. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om shanti shanti shanti. Yes, peace, peace, peace. God bless you and yours. I'm sending much love and big hugs to you and yours. Stay tuned for right now, because I'll be posting FeeFiFoFum part 2 right on the heels of FeeFiFo part 1, this clip, so you can hear the rest of what I'm saying. And I'll see you when I see you, and bye-bye for now.